I say,
Africa for Africa. Africa for
we must remember we are brothers and sisters.
Africa for Africa.
War and conflicts will only bring suffering and hunger.
Africa for Africa.
African leaders must bring us together.
Africa for Africa.
As Africans, we must love Africa.
Africa for Africa.
As Africans, we must care for Africa.
Africa for Africa.
Africa is the way I say.
Africa for Africa.
Africa for Africa is the way I say.
Africa for Africa. Africa for Africa.
La 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 la. On this tour of ours, I've been trying to explain the predicament of Africa today. Because people keep asking, why is Africa the way Africa is? I think the answer is kind of very simple. It's as people, the world in general, the United Nations and everybody, and Africans themselves, have failed to appreciate the problem of Africa. We have failed to appreciate 500 years of slavery. You know, it's difficult to remember 365 days in a man's life. How do we want to appreciate 500 years? You know, as a people, the world generally, we just take things for granted. So I use the Jewish problem. Do forgive me. It's with no disrespect. It's just to understand the gravity of our history. The problem we have, we all sympathize with the Jewish problem because there is footage. So we cannot run away from the fact of what Hitler did. Because every time you put on TV, there's somewhere you have to come. And if you fail to realize, there are thousands of people that will show you this history. It's everywhere. Footage, live footage. It's not films or documentaries. There is live footage. Photography, film, name it, you have everything. So you can't, I don't care what color you are, you have to sympathize. You fear, you say, oh, thank God I wasn't born then. Oh, wow, what would I have done if I was there? So many emotions will run through you will weep, you will go through so many stages. Now, I want you to transfer that to 500 years. That is what happened to Africa, whether we like it or not. It's exactly, I watched a book, I saw a French book of what happened to the slaves. One of the things was this. When the French soldiers caught these slaves, those that resisted, they cut off their heads. Then they put their heads on a stick as a lesson to the other slaves not to revolt. What is the difference between that and the genocide? Cutting off a man's head, kids. Now, another thing we fail to realize is, because when we read these books even, we see we have electricity today, we have cars, planes. So we cannot put our minds in an era where there is no light, no roads, no cars, jeeps. So to understand what man did to man in those days, when you were caught in, what is the closest beach you have here? New Jersey. Imagine you are caught somewhere up north and you had to walk all that way to the beach. That was what happened to many Africans. They were caught up Far away in Nigeria, they had to walk thousands of kilometers to the beach before they were transferred to the unknown world. Yes. So, we need to appreciate this era. And then when we appreciate this era, we can understand 100 years of colonial rule. We can understand 50, 60 years of bad government in Africa. Africa has to be the way it is today. Before we can come out of this mess, it probably will take another 50 to 100 years. But first of all, we need to appreciate that Ghana and Nigeria, all these are colonial structures. We need to overcome this era. I was saying yesterday in New York, probably mankind had to go through this stage. Because today, somebody like me, I've got white blood, red Indian blood. It's very hard to find a very clear being these days. So probably we had to go through all this nonsense to understand that we're all human beings. To overcome racism, like Marcus Garvey said, Martin Luther King said. And Africa will not win this fight without the friends, our brothers and sisters around the world. So let's all sing together, my friends in Kenya. Africa for Africa. Hey. Africa for Africa. We must remember we are brothers and sisters. Africa for Africa. War and conflicts will only bring suffering and hunger. Africa for Africa. African leaders must bring us together. Africa for Africa. As Africans we must love Africa. Africa for Africa. As Africans we must care for Africa. Africa for Africa. Africa for Africa is the way I say. Africa for Africa. Africa for Africa is the way I say. Africa for Africa. Africa for Africa.